Hello there and welcome back to our channel. Today I'm going to talk and give a brief explanation about the in-game settings, especially the new ones, because a lot of people are asking and they're wondering, what are these new game settings? What do they mean and how do they benefit me? So that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. So let's get right into it. I'm going to start with the game control. So in the game control, you're going to see a custom interface on the top right. That is for you to set up your controls. It's all based on basically on what you like and where you position your finger, where you want the buttons. If you play with 4 fingers or if you play with 2 fingers, it's completely up to you. So that's just customizable just in your own way. It's completely up to you however you want to have it. The sensitivity is on the weapon. Now, here's the thing though. You see me moving the sensitivity around right there. Every weapon is different, so keep that in mind. You may have to adjust based on the weapon that you're using. So, for example, some machine guns are very, very heavy, so they require that you increase the sensitivity so that you can move around better left to right, up and down. This is not the running itself. That's running speed, which is not in the settings. That is simply just based on the equipment you're wearing. This is the sensitivity on how quickly the cursor moves from left to right or up and down, basically the pointing of your weapon. I have it set this way. Now, I want to show something with you because I have it in the middle, but I have this right here. It's called new camera control. You can see me there switching it on and off. What this is basically it almost multiplies it by 2, so you get 2 times as more sensitivity. So if you don't have it, if you have it turned off, then the sensitivity right now will be very, very low. But since I have it turned on, my sensitivity is very, very strong, that if I had it maxed out, I mean, it would be very, very strong. So I use it. I like it the way it is. I set it up that way. The auto shoot, which you can see me there turning on and off, is basically so that if you want to have the automatic shooting of the weapon, or would you rather manually shoot the weapon by hitting a button. I like to have the auto shoot. It just makes it easier. The one tap aim as well, so you can aim, one way. Now here's the new one, the aim friction, right? You could either turn it off or you can turn it on. This is very good. This is basically what this is if you notice on your game, how do I explain this? When you point at the enemy, and I don't know if you've experienced this before, most of you probably have. If you have 2 people right next to each other, 2 enemies right next to each other, and you point it towards one person, sometimes the aim friction, because you have it so high, it starts to point it to the person on the right, which is not who you intended to shoot at. Or sometimes it goes crazy and it points at one person and immediately switches to the other one. That's what this aim friction is. If you'd rather have it where you control all of it, then you want to have it all the way off. You control the weapon, you point at it, and it won't help you. If you the stronger you have it, the higher up you have it, the more the friction will help you. So the cursor will move kind of towards the enemy's head a little bit, kind of helping you out. That's what this is. That's a very good one. It makes a big difference in the game, especially if you're already used to it. If you're coming from different seasons, you're already used to having it high, so you might want to have it high. But if it really annoyed you because you wanted to point at one person and just stick to that person, then you're gonna want to start to reduce it, and it'll become a benefit to you. So it's completely up to you. You have the smart switch. What this means is basically you have your weapon, your primary weapon, and what the smart switch does is once you run out of bullets, rather than reload like it normally does, if you have the smart switch, what it does is it automatically switches to your secondary weapon without you having to reload. Now what comes into play is what kind of gloves you have, so that because there's a percentage on how quickly you change weapons. So it depends on what gloves you have. Some gloves have it really high, so you'll switch weapon really quickly. Some are slow, so it'll take you longer for you to switch weapons. So it's completely up to you. We talked about the new camera control. Another thing that I want to talk about is the show controls. I have it turned off. What this does is it won't shut all the controls off. You see I have it off, but on the left hand side, the cursor, when you're moving around, not the weapon but the running itself, it hides that cursor so that you don't see it in the screen. That's what that does. The left hand mode, if you're left-handed and you rather have the opposite, so it mirrors the controls to what they are normally, that's what that will do. It's completely up to you. It's based on preference. On the game side, you have this thing which is really cool. If you're coming from Android, you can see right there, I only have 1 server. If you're an Android, you're going to have multiple servers, so this is where you can change the different servers. But keep in mind, if you change servers, you will not carry your profile with you. You will not. So Make sure that if you are changing servers first, make sure that your account is linked to either Facebook or to your Play Store, because if you do not have it saved, you're going to switch servers and you're going to lose all your game, all your advancements, everything that you've done, all your progress. So don't do that. Make sure you're saved first of all. Make sure you're linked into something so you don't lose your account. Right now I'm currently playing on iOS, so there's only one server, which is the IAU. This was important right here next over. Who can invite you to squad? Many people will say that they don't receive squads from their clanmates, and that's because you probably have it set to friends. So you're not gonna have enough friends out there that you're gonna be able to invite the whole world. So there's only a limit on how many friends you could actually have set up, actual friends in the game, right? Like in Facebook, that you have a certain amount of friends. The limit's like 5,000. The game has a specific amount as well. So if you want to receive invites from everybody, make sure you set it through. Otherwise, you will not receive invites. Or if you're just angry and you don't want to talk to nobody, you don't want to deal with anybody that day, then set it to nobody, and nobody will be able to invite you into squad. But I have it set on there all. Camera shakes upon damage. When you're hit, your camera shakes a little bit, just kind of letting you know, yeah, you're going to get the red kind of arrow in front of you, or a little check that'll tell you that you've received damage. But this one shakes a little bit, just so you can quickly turn around or turn to the side to know where you're being shot. That's where I have it right there. The scope power. It's important. How much zoom do you want on your weapon when you're using your scope? That's what this is. If you want a sniper rifles have a very deep, they're zoomed in a lot, so you're gonna want to reduce that a little bit. I have it set right there where you can see. That's my preference. I don't want it to be too zoomed in, but I don't want it to be too zoomed out where I cannot see the enemy. So that's the perfect one for me. That's how I have it. Field of view is, imagine a wide screen. How wide do you want to be able to see? If you're not used to having the field of view high, I suggest that you start a little bit at a time, like get used to that, then get used to this. It's a big benefit for you to be able to see around you a little bit better, and then start to increase it a little bit by little bit, day by day, week by week. If you have it like low, you don't want to immediately switch it all the way to the top, because if you do that, you're gonna start getting killed a lot. You're not gonna get used to it. You might even get dizzy. So make sure that you increase a little bit at a time, just depending on what you have. These are all self-explanatory. I don't believe I need to explain any of these right here. The graphics, it depends on what weapon you have for your phone. You know what, I should probably have them all on high, so let me switch that. It depends on your phone on what you want to have, because the higher the graphics, the more megabytes it's going to eat up, and the more it's going to require to download. So make sure that you are going to have it high, that you have a good processor, a good phone. Right now I'm using an iPhone 15 Pro Max, so I can have it on high and not experience any lag. Also, your internet has a lot to do with how much internet do you play with, how many megabytes per second. That has a lot to do with that as well. So depending on your game experience, if you're receiving a lot of lag, then you're going to want to probably change it a little bit, especially the in-game battle, right? Lower it, maybe go very low. It just depends on your phone and your internet. These options are self-explanatory as well. Your sounds are self-explanatory as well. The voices, this one is the voices from your character. You can see if they're saying like reloading, or what do they say? I forgot at this point what they say. Leave me, things like that's what those voices are. Is your character. The microphone is when you're using the microphone inside the game. If you're communicating with your individuals and you're playing via chat and you're actually speaking into it, that's what that is. The microphone itself, and then the voice chat is the microphone is what you're speaking into, and the voice chat is others speaking into it. And then the language, there'll be more languages being added in the near future. I know there has been a request about adding Arabic. I did hear from the developers that they are working on that, so pretty soon you'll have Arabic and other languages in there as well. Now, if you like our videos, make sure you subscribe for your leave, drop us a like, and hit the notification bell. I hope you like this video. We'll see you in the next one.